Welcome back. The agitation for environmental justice in the Niger Delta is far from over. This time, leaders of the Ogoni Kingdom in Rivers State have threatened to take their protests to the streets of Abuja if the federal government fails to implement the United Nations Environmental Assessment Report on Ogoni land.
With this traditional anthem, leaders and the people of Ogoni Kingdom displayed their unity of purpose in a consultative meeting with representatives of the federal government in Bori, Ogoni, Rivers State. The atmosphere is tense. Not even a joke from the masters of ceremony could force a smile on the faces of those gathered.
After the Israelites, that were Ogoni people.
That report was meant, if it was in a external environment, to draw the attention of the government of Nigeria to the very serious crisis and the alarm bell that were raised in that report. But 3 years down the line, the inaction that has been displayed by the government have been something that the Ogoni people have been quite unhappy about.
The Minister of Petroleum Resources, represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Al-Maliki says it's better late than never.
His Excellency, President Jonathan, based on the provisions of the Petroleum Act, approved the establishment of hydrocarbon pollution restoration project.
Some of the elders who spoke at the event insist that the issues must be addressed without politics.
We have invested too much. We have lost too much. We have hoped too much. We have planned too much. We cannot at this hour begin to play with what is to us a matter of life and death.
The Permanent Secretary has come to say we want to consult. Why didn't you consult with us first before setting up IDEA? Why have we wasted 3 whole years when people are dying because of the degradation that we face in our environment?
Mossab resolved to put the planned protest in Abuja on hold, but threatened to resume their agitation if the federal government fails to show considerable action in the next 1 month.
The United Nations International Youth Day is celebrated on August 12th each year to recognize the efforts of the world's youth in enhancing global society. Here in Nigeria, a group of young people under the aegis of youth of all nations joined in marking the day. Our correspondent Shola Shirley caught up with them and has this report.
Scientific inventions.
These young people are gathered here to mark the United Nations International Youth Day. The day is set aside to promote ways for young people to become more actively involved in making positive contributions to their communities. One of the guests at the event, the National Chairman of Unity Party of Nigeria, Dr. Frederick Faseun, went down memory lane and recounted the antecedents of the late Obafemi Awolowo, Anthony Enahoro and Bola Ige, all of whom came to national consciousness before the age of 30. He challenged the youth across the country to take their rightful place and protect the country's democracy.
Democracy is the rule of law, and it invites discipline, self-discipline. Unfortunately, the youths of this nation don't have much of self-discipline. If you had self-discipline, you would not participate in cutting away ballot boxes. So I am challenging the youths of this nation. It is not too late to recoil from these evils.
Other speakers at the event focused on the theme of the day, preparing youth for leadership.
The politicians have managed to get us asking the wrong questions about Nigeria. The most important question is not who will be next to preside over the failure, who will be next commander-in-chief of poverty, mass poverty. No! You youth I'm challenging you to change that. Don't let any political parties leave the convention hall until they have talked to you about governance.
It is time we youth must come out to claim back what we have lost due to our lukewarmness.
The dream of the young people gathered here, and perhaps of most of them across the country, is one where majority of youth get fulfillment out of life and contribute their quota to the development of the country. Shala Shoyeli, Channels Television News.
First Bank.
Good evening. Welcome to Business News. I am Adeshewa Josh. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, has raised concerns over the federal government's plan to privatize the Bank of Industry and the Bank of Agriculture. The LCCI says that the development institutions remain government-owned and will support the growth and development of the real sector. The chamber also noted that a privatized entity would affect the institution's ability to provide long-term affordable finance for investors in the corresponding sectors. And now to company news. One of Nigeria's leading energy group of companies, Forte Oil Nigeria PLC, has posted a 33% turnover in its audited half-year results and are translating to a profit after tax of over 3 billion naira. Forte Oil is also one of the high-priced stocks listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Our correspondent Temple Ashaju reports.
PLC acquired about 30% shares of African Petroleum in 2007. Since the acquisition, the oil and gas firm has consistently posted huge revenue, helped by its transformation program.
We want to be the foremost integrated energy solutions provider in Nigeria. On the bedrock of that, we have solid corporate governance and sound business ethics.
For its half-year earnings, Forte Oil posted a 33% increase in turnover and a profit before tax of 4.19 billion naira. The diverse product lines made these records possible.
To the revenue line, we did about 4 billion on par of the 79 billion you have in revenues. As of last year, this wasn't there, so that actually accounted for part of the 33% increase, in addition to the fact that we've also expanded our customer base, commercial customer base. At the PBT level, we've recorded about 152%, basically because we now operate more efficiently. If you look at our distribution cost, for example, it's about 1.4 billion, 7% down, despite the fact that revenue has gone up by about 33%.
The energy-based firm also looks forward to a brighter future, but not without excellent payouts to its shareholders.
Upstream is something that we're also keen at the moment. We're very keen on acquisition of assets. We're looking at what is going on with the IOC divestments.
We paid about 4 naira per share at the end of last year. What we can tell our shareholders is that it can only get better. We expect that we'll be paying a robust dividend at the end of this year.
Forte Oil operates over 500 retail outlets in the downstream sector. With its diversification strategy, it also runs a 414 megawatts power plant in Kogi State. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
Trading at the equities market closed on a negative note today, and investors' bargain hunting weakened the all-share index by 1.39% to close at 42,012.73. Here's BC Adebayo with today's closing figures. Hello and welcome to the stock markets reports. Sell pressure dominated activities at the Nigerian equities markets today as losses recorded by some market heavyweights such as Dangote Cement dragged the all-share index southwards. The K-Broad index lost 1.37% and finished the day straight at 42,012.73. Market capitalization also ended lower at 13.87 trillion naira. Market breadth was negative as 27 stocks appreciated while 34 declined. declined. Investors shaved 9 naira 14 kobo off the share price of Nigeria breweries. Guinness and Dangote Cement also lost 6 naira 5 kobo and 3 naira 99 kobo, respectively. The three top price appreciators include Seplat, Total, and NNFM. Transcorp was the most actively traded equity, churning out 16.10 million units. At the end of the day's trade, volume came in at 143.09 million units, exchanged in 4,697 deals for 1.90 billion naira. And that ends the stock market reports. I'm Bisi Adebayo. Thanks a lot, Bisi. And that's Business News Tonight. The News at 10 continues in a moment.
First Bank.
Still ahead on the News at 10, Togo Football Federation wants a change of venue for next month's Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Guinea for fear of Ebola. That's in sports news. Please join us again.